All right, welcome back, guys. Today, what I want to talk about is on the most recent rune removal. I tried to tune up my account for PVE, which normally on free rune removal, all I do is RTA. But now that we don't have to do that anymore, and it's automatically free rune removal for RTA all the time, I was able to give a little bit of time to my PVE account because I get all these runes, and I'm too lazy to change them up in PVE because PVE works. So I wanted to give the PVE side a little bit of love. So that's what I did. So the first thing I did is I made a priority list of what I think is important in PVE. So what order I want to rune things in. So I went BJ5, which once I made the BJ5, I've not changed it at all. Even though I could, upgrade it a little bit. It's kind of hard to get right, and I got it right earlier, and I don't want to mess with it. So I just locked everything that was on BJ5. So that's done. Then I thought Alunia 5. Alunia is the dimensional hole rune dungeon that I like, the one with the will and the despair. And I've got that team set, so I just locked it. I didn't even try to upgrade it. It's 100%. It's fairly fast. It's good. So done. Then I thought AD AO. So I've never... That's not true. I haven't really focused on AD like very strongly. And so I'll show you what I did. So let's see here. Here's my little AD. This is the one I'm trying for this week, and then next week I'll try something different. So it's Vanessa, Amduat, who's my new unit, Triton, just to scare him off of speed, and then Rakan. I don't know if these are the right units to have, but here's the stats. So she's like 38k HP, 100% crit, so she's on crit. Just want him to live. Amduat, 41k HP, 197 speed on Despair Revenge. I don't know if that's too slow, because it basically says, you have to take a turn for him to get to do anything. So this is a turn 2, but also a turn 1 team, so it's kind of weird. He won't move in sync with the Triton, right, which is kind of awkward. The Triton's, I think, like 215-ish, 214, something like that. Not perfect accuracy, but pretty good. He's the one that'll die turn 1 because he's so weak. And then the Rakan is pretty beefy, like 38, 39k HP. Pretty fast for a Rakan, like 210. But he's not fully doubled. I just did this skill because I like that skill. So that's the plan. We're going to see how it performs this week. And then next week, I'm going to swap in Praha, I think. So there's the Praha, 240 speed, 41k HP on double Nem. I don't know. The other option is Ariel, but Ariel's not really ready to go. So that was what I decided on for my AD. The next thing I did was AO. Which is just my normal single target nuke team. That's what I like for AO. I don't really like Lucians. I've tried it before, and the runes go places that I can't use much anywhere except AO, whereas the single target nuke team with the Sierra, the Kali, the fast Bastet, she's like 306, and then the Odin. That team I can use in a lot of different places. Those units can be used in like Guild Wars and stuff like that. So that's why I left it like that. So, not a lot of changes yet. But I'm getting down the list, right? AD was my first kind of big change. AO was my kind of second main thing. Then my first 3 priorities after that are my 3 main Guild War teams that I use. I've gone off these teams before, and it drove me crazy because I wasn't as consistent on Guild Wars as I wanted. So I made sure to rune up my Guild Wars teams better. So let's look at those real quick. They are Bulldozer, who's right here. So he's a beast. He does like 50k. He's on double guard. So it's Bulldozer, Fran, and I beefed up the Fran. Just made her tankier and a little faster, so she's 286, and she can take a hit a little bit better. She was getting low in some of the comps, and I didn't like that. And then Tyrannus, which the bonus of Tyrannus is he's also on my Alunia team, so 2 for 1. So that's one of the Guild Wars teams. The other one I run is Amelia, who I buffed up in terms of a little bit of speed and a little bit of HP. So I gave Amelia a little bit of love there. Bulwark, which I like Bulwark on Violent and then Revenge if I can get it. Bulwark is at his most frustrating when he's under control, and Violent makes him harder to control. And then the Rock Boy, Skogul, which I buffed him up a little bit. Let's see. He's in storage, though, because he only comes out for Guild Wars. Is this the one? Maybe that's the one. I can't remember. I have 2, and I can never find him. Maybe he's still out of storage. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is the one. So he's 37k HP, like under 200 speed, like 190, something like that. But pretty good, 80% resist. I mean, he's he's doing his job, right? And I just wanted him a little bit tankier because I've fought some Pernas that will just nuke through him even when he gets defense buff, which is sad. So I buffed him up a little bit, so I'm feeling pretty good about those. Then my B10 teams is the thing that I made kind of the big change on. I've been kind of just coasting on my B10 teams for a while, and I've been sort of stagnant on what I'm doing there. So I wanted to put a little bit of coordinated effort into the teams. So let's go ahead and take a look at the B10 teams. So this one gets a Lucian to start, and we'll just run it and talk about it. So this is that team you see where the Julie goes first and tries to nuke everything down. Now the issue I'm having is that it doesn't actually nuke everything in a wave, so that slows it down. So I don't know, but it goes Julie, Lauren, Lucian, I believe, which isn't ideal, but it's okay. It gives the defense break to the Lucian, but the Lauren is locked in from the BJ5 team, so Lauren's not changing. And this is nice because, you know, I need the Lauren for the BJ5 team, and then she's pretty good for the dungeon teams as well. She's roughly the speed I want her. She's on double fight, which is great. So this is a 31-second run. It's a little faster. My other team was like in the 40 seconds. This one will go from the 20s to the mid-30s. So it's pretty nice. And then the great thing about it is that it runs everywhere the same. In the Dragons team, I can run the Lucian, but I've made this Verd that's on fight and pure damage. You'll see he's 184 crit damage. I mean, he's a little beast. And the Verd team is about the same speed and I think's a little safer. Like I ran with Lucian as the lead, and the Verd I think outperforms. Now the Verd going first, I don't know if that's ideal. You might want your Verd to go last to kind of pick up your team, but it hasn't seemed to really hurt the success rate, so I'm happy with it. So it's pretty nice. I mean, the team clears pretty quick, and it's all the same monsters. So it's super rune efficient that I get to use the same monsters for, you know, a completely different dungeon. And then the Necro team is also basically exactly the same. So we'll take a look at that one next. So you can see we're just nuking him, controlling his attack bar and just nuking him into the ground. I don't really run dragons much, so it's nice that I can... Oh, look! A new fastest time, 35 seconds. Not the fastest I've ever seen from other players, but, you know, for me, that's good enough. And the fact that that happens with the Verd, I'm fine with that, right? So here's this one with the Lucian lead. Nice for clearing the waves. I'm not sure about the Lucian, because this team, since I've built it, has failed, and I don't want that. So I need to figure something out. I'm definitely going to keep the other 4 units, but the Lucian I might switch out for something a little safer, a little more effective. I was thinking maybe the Water Cannon with her nice lead and tons of multi-hits. I could do Fran, which would be slower and give me some heals, and also some multi-hits. I don't know. It's pretty safe, but it's not 100%. And we'll take a look at all the runes here as soon as we're done. So no defense breaks there, which is sort of sad. Still no defense breaks. There we go. I just got to kill him one more time. Will we get it? No, stolen. But, I mean, I've run Necro quite a bit from that Necro event, and it's pretty close to 100%, but it's not 100%, so still a little change. And I have no problem removing the Lucian for whatever. I could try the Verd. I don't think Verd really works here, but there's a lot of good options I could use. So we get him down that time. Not a perfect run. Yeah, look at that, over a minute. And so the Necro time has not come down a ton. I mean, still a minute. But Necro, to me, I'm just not great at getting it faster. And if I can use the same units, then hey, I will. Okay, let's go ahead and hit prepare so we can take a look at their runes. So here's the Lucian. He's on just nuke him out build. 85% crit because I'm going to run Giants most of the time. And I just need him to crit 100% time in Giants. So that's what's going on there. Here's the Lauren from the BJ5. Not perfect. You know, she's meant to survive and do what she does. She's pretty good on double fight will, so getting those fight sets going. So that's 2 fight sets. Here's my 3rd fight set on the Sabrina. Almost 100% crit, but not quite. She's got a shield set as well. I like a couple shield sets and as many fight sets as I can get. So that's my 3rd fight set and my 1st shield set. Talia, same thing. She's on shield fight. Basically a clone of the other twin. So now we're at 4 fight, 2 shield. And then the Julie is on full damage. 100% crit. because I need that in giants. Interestingly, if I wanted to focus on dragons for a month, I could, I think, just switch her runes and Lucian's runes so that she would be on 85 crit and he would be on 100 crit. That might help with the dragons. But this is good, and I really just want to run giants all the time, so that's why she's ruined the way she is. So that's my dungeon teams. I like them. They're faster. They're more consistent, I guess. I don't know. And then they're just set. They're done. Like, they've got their runes. They're done. Okay, so that's AO. My 3 Go War teams, we talked about those. My B10 teams, we talked about that. And then I just sort of runed good monsters, which is sort of monsters for all occasions that I will use in Arena and Guild Wars and Siege. They're not part of anything in particular. So you can see my list here is Wusa, who I pulled a little while ago. Love Wusa. Actually, these are all my new pulls. Diana, I recently pulled as well. Shihu, I also pulled as well, like last week. So the last month, I pulled Diana and Shihu, the 2 meta strippers that I didn't have to run the meta RTA team. So I might run the meta RTA team a little bit next season because I felt that I couldn't quite run it because I didn't have the great strippers. You know, I was relying on kind of second-rate strippers. But the Shiho and the Diana are like, in my mind, the premium non-LD strippers for running, you know, meta teams. So let's take a look at those real quick. Wusa, Diana, Shiho, and Perna. And I buffed up the Perna too. The Perna has been slowly getting less love, and I think that's not fair. Like, Perna needs to be pretty well ruined for guild kind of content. So here's the Wusa, looking pretty sharp. Just on Swift Energy, good HP, good speed. The Shihu is here. A little slower than you would want for RTA, but it's PVE, so I think it's fine. Good, I think really good damage, pretty good survivability on Violent. My Diana is, I think, in my mind, really well runed. 45k HP on crit damage is not easy to do, and it kind of comes down to this rune that I made in one of those make your own rune events. It rolled quad HP, if you guys remember that. I know it's been a while. And then I've got some other nice beefy efficient runes. That one's really nice, the crit rate HP rune. This one also. So she turned out, I think, really, really well. And then here's the Perna. Just kind of standard damagey Perna, I don't know. So, but better than he was. Perna I've been sort of stealing from for quite a while. So it's nice to get Perna back where he needs to be, because I'll use Perna in PvE quite a bit. PvP not so much, but even if I did, it wouldn't matter because I can rune it separately. All right, so that's good mons. And then the last thing was Tart bosses. I don't know about you guys, but the Tart mini bosses, I haven't spent any time runing specifically for them, and they're hard. Like, the mini bosses are hard for me. I've been doing hard versus hell, because the hell, it's so many tries and it's not very effective. It's almost like I'm relying on luck. So I was like, all right, I've had enough of that. Even though Tart only comes around every so often, I need to be better at those bosses. So there's some good overlap between the fire and the water boss, and so that's what I mainly rune for. So basically, the main part of it is the Wusa, which was already runed for the good mons, and then the Miang is pretty huge. So here's the Miang, and then let's see who else we got there. The Bale's the same Bale for the fire boss. I've got a Galleon, which you know what a Galleon's going to look like. It's just not on Violent because I don't want it proccing. And then I have different damage dealers. I'm using Taor as my damage dealer in both, and then a Lagmoron in the water boss. So let's take a look real quick. Here's the Miang. She's pretty beefy. I mean, she got a lot of love. I guess I should probably max that rune. But she should do her job. So now that I have Wusa, I have a little bit better shot against some of these bosses, in that I can put up the Wusa immunity and extend it with Miang and never be without immunity. That was my main issue before on these mini bosses, before I had this option. So I ruined up Miang for real, and I'm hopeful that she'll do a good job. The Taor, I guess I put back in storage. Did I keep the Lagmoron out? Here's the Lagmoron for the water boss. I mean, just built to hit pretty hard. Oh no, here's the Taor. Also built to hit pretty hard against the fire boss. And that's the plan. That's about as far as I got on my PvE runing, but the main thing I did is I highlighted monsters that overlapped in multiple areas, because they were my most value. I ruined up, maybe about 30 monsters, maybe a little bit less, a little more, somewhere in there. So there's a lot of monsters that didn't get any love, didn't get any attention, but they were still ruined from before. So maybe I'll give them a little attention next month. But I'm hoping this will this will make me in good shape for quite a while. Because yeah, runing for PVE is fine, but I want it to be pretty stable because it doesn't change too much, you know. I'm not going to rerune my whole account because I got one new rune for a Shiho in Guild Wars, you know. So that was what I did. That was my priority order. I think if you're runing anywhere, you know, having an order priority will distribute your runes in the way that is most beneficial to you. So I hope that was useful. We don't really do PVE runes too much, so hope that was worth your time. And I will catch you in the next video. Take care, everybody.